It's another Tihnayi European special. Our guest this week is one of the brightest young prospects in all of Europe. Since debuting barely 5 years ago, he's competed in 7 different countries for some of the biggest promotions in Europe. He competed in the Progress Natural Progression Series and Wxw 16 Carat Gold. He has held the Hungarian Championship Wrestling Heavyweight title. He is my wife's favorite wrestler. Please welcome to our show, Mr. Peter Tihanyi. How are you?
Hello everyone, I'm fine. I'm a bit tired, but overall I'm really good.
Yeah, so we're recording this one in the morning. This is quite
Yeah,
unusual for us. So thank you very much for coming on today, Peter.
yeah, thank you for
Uh,
inviting.
we are Tihnayi. We're the Great British Wrestling Podcast for Great British Wrestling and some European wrestling,
Yeah.
as featured on bodyslam.net and John's podcasting. I am the host, Great British Attacker, Mr. Andrew Moore and Dieter Most. So let's start off with, if you want to give the audience a bit of basic information, who you are, where you're from, and where you've been competing.
Yeah, so my name is Peter Tihanyi. I'm from Budapest, Hungary. I'm 22 years old and I started wrestling 10 years ago, actually. Yeah,
And
I was 12.
so, God, 10 years ago. So you're nice and young. That's tends to be a British habit, where we train very young, so from the ages of 10, 11. But so you started training, I'm guessing, under the arrows of Hungary.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I met them in 2012. Like, I think I met Icarus first because so I went to a training just to watch it, just to see how is it. And then the next training which I like did, like it was with Icarus, and then later Dover joined in, so yeah, I started under them.
So, now, when and how did you kind of get into wrestling then?
So I think I was around 11 or 12, I'm not really sure, but I had a classmate who told me he has a new game for his console, for his PlayStation 2, and he invited me to his house to play, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And it was a wrestling game, and like since then it was a laugh for me.
That's exactly what the arrows of Hungary said as well. It was a video game that got him into
Yeah, yeah,
wrestling.
that's right.
So because what we found out via at Dover and Icarus, of course, is that there was no professional wrestling in Hungary. There was
That's
no
right.
independent wrestling until the Arrows stepped up. So did you go to a HCW event, or did you just go straight to you saw the game and went straight to I want to
Yes,
play?
so first like we were playing a lot after that, and I asked the guy about wrestling, like where can I watch it and stuff like that. So he told me there is wrestling in Hungary on TV, actually. Like they you could watch WWE shows with Hungarian commentary. So I started watching that, and I don't know, just on one day I randomly searched for Hungarian wrestling, and that's when I found HCW. And I went to the training first, and then I went to my first HCW show.
And what's it been like training under Icarus and Dover? Are they hard instructors, or are they?
Oh yeah, they are. Like we had the when they did our training together, that was those were the hardest trainings ever, but like it helped us a lot. So yeah, but they are really good trainers.
So you have now, as I say, competed in 7 different countries. You've won the Hungarian Championship Wrestling
Yes.
title. What was winning that like? What was the feeling?
Well, it was like a childhood dream come true,
Mm.
and like I was very happy about it, and yeah, like it was a very different feeling for sure. I already had the Revolution title before that,
Mm.
uh, and I won that against one of my best friends. So that was also like a very good feeling that we could share this moment together in the ring, and also the same for the heavyweight title. But that was bigger because like that's the main title in Hungary, and I was 21 when I won that. So it was very good feeling.
Now, during the lockdown, the Arrows of Hungary, Icarus and Dover, they took you over to WXW. I heard you guys traveled all the way by car.
Yeah, that's right. 14
during
hours.
and you got to work with the Wxw Academy and start working with Wxw Germany, which arguably definitely the biggest promotion in Europe.
Yes.
So what kind of was like to get in the academy first, and we'll talk about the shows.
Yes, first time when I was at the academy, that was in 2020, just before COVID, because so the first time I went to a 16 carat was in 2019 with with my best friend actually, and then 1 year later we wanted to go again, but with a bigger group to stay there and train. So I think around 12 guys from Hungary traveled us there too. So we watched the 16 carat, and then we went to the academy for 1 week. And when we arrived home, that's when COVID hit. So after that, like everything we learned was like, okay, and now like we have to sit home and we can't wrestle. So that was the first time. And 1 year later, I think in February 2021, that was the first time when I first worked with WXW for the taping.
Now, traveling during the COVID, that must have been hard because it was a straight travel where you couldn't stop at hotels. I can't remember. Tesla was telling me about it, but what was it like driving all the way down from Hungary to Germany?
Well, yeah, so the first taping was a bit harder because it was snowing and the roads were very icy, so it took us like 14 hours. For the second taping, it was a bit easier because it was only 12, so so that's at least that's something. And also after the first taping, we couldn't come back home like immediately after the tapings. We had to stay 1 more day because of the roads. So as soon as the tapings finished, we stayed 1 more day just to wait till the roads get clean, and then we traveled back home to Hungary. And also that was 14 hours. I was lucky because I didn't drive because I didn't have a driving license, so I could just sleep and sit in the back. But for the other guys, I think it was a bit harder.
Yeah, I can't imagine being locked up for 12 hours. Longest flight I've ever done was the US, and that's hard enough. It's like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Now, during that period, you got to actually see Dover and Icarus lift the tag team championships with WXW. And I remember them talking about the pride that they had, not only because they had won it, but the fact that they got to win it in front of all the, as you say, a group of almost 20 of you. So what was it like seeing your trainers finally lift that tag title?
Yeah, it was, I think I was as happy as them, and I think it is true for every other guys at the tapings. So as soon as they won it, we just went to the backstage to say congrats to them, and like it was a really good moment to be able to see that in live, especially like in a COVID era. So I think it was very special for everyone.
And then with WXW, you've really started to get noticed quite a lot with a lot of people writing very good articles about you, including myself. What was it like to sort of start to see that your reputation growing and people saying things like he's one of the brightest young talents in Europe?
Yeah. So it's still very weird for me because I feel like I really have to improve a lot because like WXW is like really the best promotion in Europe. And also with the talents, it's the same. Like those talents are really, really great. So I'm really happy about that. And I could feel that I improved a lot, but I'm still like nowhere near to the top guys. So I really have to work more. But yeah, I'm just happy that people like my job because I really like to do it. And I try my best at every show. So hopefully it can stay the same and I can improve way more.
I'm sure you will. And as I say, you've obviously impressed. I think it was the matches that with Fast Time Mudo, I think really started to be your first real rivalry in WXW. Faced off them a few times. What was it like, sort of like those matches with Fast Time Mudo? Because as I say, they were the ones that really stood out towards the beginning.
Yeah. So I never worked him before. But on our first match, we just clicked in the ring, and it worked out really great. And then we had another one, which I feel like is a bit, I don't know, we wanted to do even better than the first one, and I think that was our problem because we wanted to do too much. And now we had the third match, and I feel like it was our best match overall. So I'm happy that we could like wrestle 3 times against each other, and we could feel the improvement. So I think that's a really good thing.
Another young man who you've kind of started a rivalry with. He's one of the brightest young talents coming out of France recently, and it was Mr. Gil Blanc. But you, after your set of matches with Wxw, you were invited to be part of the 16 Carat Gold. I mean, how did you feel so like when you heard the news that you're going to be part of 16 Carat?
Yeah, so like when me and the other guys started to talk about Wxw, we were like, yeah, probably it's gonna take us like 5 years to get in Wxw. And after this talk, it took us like 10 months. So that was already like, oh, like what's happening? And I remember that when me and myself and Guyash arrived at the tapings, we were standing at the venue and just looking around and like, what are we doing here? Like how we get here. So it was kind of the same for 16 Carat. But the harder part was just before that, I had a show with Wxw where my elbow injured that 10 days before 16 Carat Gold. So that time was a bit hard because it was my first time to be, I was the first ever Hungarian to be in 16 Carat, and now I have an elbow injury and I have 10 days to recover. So I think you can imagine like how I felt sometimes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I went to the gym with the cast on my arm. So I tried my best to lift weights and train and stuff like that. But, you know, it was a bit different. But at the end, it worked out fine. So I was really, really happy. And after that, we also stayed 1 more week for the academy. So it's kind of like a usual thing now. So like that time of my career, I think that's the highlight so far.
So let's talk about Gil Blanc. It was your first round match. You've come and you faced him at Passion Pro, Wxw, and at APC Catch now. What's it been like working with, as I say, somebody who's very similar to you, very tall, very young, very athletic?
Yeah, that's right. So the first time we had a match together was at the Passion Pro, at the first ever Passion Pro show, and it was the same. Just like as soon as we started talking about like what we would like to do in a match, which just worked out really easy. And as soon as we stepped in the ring, we could just spell each other really good. So that's why we could work together, I think, really, really good. And that's when they saw our match, and that's when they decided to book it for 16 Carat as well. And now I'm not sure if I can say that, but maybe. So it looks like we're gonna have a third one in Hungary, which I'm really, really happy about that, because we can show Hungary the same thing. And I'm really, really happy to do that.
That's awesome because yes, you've had Tristan Archer recently come over to France, and you got to be in that HCW. It was a championship match. Was it yourself? I can't remember the third guy. Well, it's a bit like working with Tristan.
Yeah, so I've worked him before in APC. We had a singles match there, and I think it's the same. And for the French guys, I would just say the same. They are super easy to work with, and like they are really nice guys. I really love them. So yeah, we are good friends. So that helps in the ring also.
Now that match with Gil Blanc, if it hadn't been for Jonathan Gresham and Bobby Guns absolutely tearing down the house, you probably would have won Match of the Night on that one.
Yeah.
And then the next day, you got to get in the ring with Jonathan Gresham. He was the ROH champion at the time. Tell us, how did that?
Yeah, so it was my biggest match, I would say, in my career. And it was 16 Carat. So I felt like, all right, I wanted 200% every match I do, but this one is special. Like I have to do 200%. So I was really nervous, but at the same time, I was very excited because I had the chance to show like the Hungarian wrestling to the fans, and of course, I had the chance to work with Jonathan Gresham, which was also like a dream match for me. So I was really happy about it, and I was very grateful for Wxw for giving me that opportunity to do that. And I learned a lot from that match, and I would say that's one of my favorite matches of mine so far.
You faced quite a few big names. Recently at WXW's the World Tag Team Festival, you went toe to toe with Speedball
Yes, that's
and got a standing ovation.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I met him in 2020 at the Academy. We had a seminar with him, and that was the point when I decided, all right, I want to work with him. And now it finally happened. So I was really happy about that.
It was a fantastic match. I was there live. I have never seen Speedball Mike Bailey get booed
Yeah,
in a
same.
ring. And
Same.
I mean, the support that you've got from WXW, you do typically get some of the loudest pops. What's the relationship with the fans been like?
Yeah, so like of course I needed time to get more comfortable doing WXW shows, because the weirdest part for me was that so WXW kind of like traveling around Germany, and every city has a different crowd, and that was a bit weird for me because like before that I worked mostly in Hungary, and Hungary is not that big of a country, so I kind of knew how the crowd is like. And when I started working with WXW, it was different. Like at one city the crowd is way different than the other one, so I had to get used to it and stuff. So I needed a little time to get like comfortable doing the stuff I do, and I think that helped me to get the fans behind me, because when I go out there I just really enjoy myself, and I'm really happy to be there and to wrestle and to show the fans like my passion. And yeah, I'm really grateful for everything like WXW had given me.
Now, I at one point when I first saw you after a few matches, I was like, Peter Tihanyi, he needs to be in the Natural Progression series. And I pretty much said this a lot throughout my podcast history. And you got into the Natural Progression series with Progress.
Yes.
How did it come about? And tell us about both the matches that you had.
Yeah, so I think after 16, so I knew that there were the promoter of Progress at the 16 Carat, so I was hoping maybe he's gonna text me or something like that. And I don't know, after 16 Carat, like 2 months later or something, I get an email from Progress, and like when I received it I was like, is it really Progress? I have to check if it's real. And it was real. So but it was nothing. So they just asked me if I would like to work with them, and I was like, yeah, of course I would like to work with Progress. And after that it kind of stopped. So I was waiting. I was not sure if they're gonna book me or not, but I was like, even if they just texted me this, I'm happy with that. And that one day, just random, I get an email from them, and they wanted to book me for 2 dates. And I was like, oh, it's really happening. I didn't know anything about the matches, but I was like, yes, of course, let's do this. So after we talked about the business part, I was just waiting, and they just announced me for the natural progression series, and I had a fatal 4-way and also a singles match. The fatal 4-way happened in Birmingham. It was me, Harry Singh, Thalvel, and actually I forgot the last guy.
Alexander Roth.
Yes, that's right. So that was my first match in Progress, and I won. And I was very happy about that. The fans were crazy. The setup is crazy, and everything is so professional there. And the second match was against Tihnayi Jr., which was a really new experience for me. But I really like to work with him and to work with Progress and everything. And after that, I came home back to Hungary, stayed for 1.5 days, and then went to Germany for 10 days. So that period of time was crazy for me.
Now, working with RKJ, he's one of the biggest stars in the UK. Did you know much about him before the match, or?
Yeah, like I know that like he's the brother of Paige and stuff like that, because I saw the movie also, but I never met him before. But I also had Nitro, Szabó Tamás from Hungary, who worked him before in the UK in one of the promotions. I'm not sure. So I heard things about him, like I knew him kind of, but never met him before.
Yeah, and of course he is one of the biggest stars, as I mentioned. So that must have been quite different for you, because you used to be quite popular. You used to be in the fan favorite, and you went into that match, and RKJ was, of course, the fan favorite. So what's it like being in that kind of situation?
Well, like for me, it's kind of the same. Like I just do my stuff there, and I felt like of course in the beginning the crowd didn't know me that much, or maybe one or two guys knew me for some reason. I'm not sure. And of course they knew RKJ, but as we just wrestled through the match, they started to like me even more. So and I think that's a normal thing, because when you see a new guy from Hungary, which is not a big country and he's not a big name and stuff like that, you're not gonna know him that much as the local guy. But yeah, if you just do your stuff in the ring, and the people see that you can wrestle, they're gonna like it at the end. I think so. It worked like this, and I'm happy it worked like that.
It was a fantastic match, and you both of yourself and RKJ, you did get quite a lot of time to work with, because in the qualifier match, you weren't given a huge amount of time to win over the crowd. So yes, I did see, yeah, definitely started to win over a few fans in that match against RKJ. Now, he's got a bit of a chop on him, hasn't he? What was that like?
Oh, his stuff in the ring, let's say that. But but I think I could match my style to his, and I think that's why it worked out great. But yeah, he's a tough one, but in a good way.
Now Passion Pro started in 2020, and you've been kind of a key integral part of Passion Pro. It's very different to HCW, working more of a super indie style, trying to just bring in the biggest names of Europe. What's it been like on Passion Pro?
Yeah, so I think that's the main difference. Like HCW is more about storylines and for families. Passion Pro is, as you mentioned, like the super indie kind of stuff, and also it's for families. But I don't know, for some reason I feel like the crowd is a bit different, even though I can see like the same faces as at the HCW shows. I can still feel that the crowd is a bit different. But I really like to work with Passion Pro, because of the talents they have. Like most of them I knew already from Wxw, or just from my travelings around the world. I'm in Europe. And so the backstage is really fun, and it's just really fun to hang out with the guys and just do what we like to do. So yeah, it's a really great experience.
And of course, you got to work with Robert Dreisker on a couple of different occasions over there, with some very impressive matches that have kind of led you to be almost part of the main event scene in Wxw right now, with Amboss, Robert Dreisker, the Arrows of Hungary, and Lawrence Roman. You've been embroiled in this rivalry with the Academy students, I guess.
Yes.
What's this storyline been like? And because it's, yeah, as I say, it's almost working the main events.
Yeah. So actually with Robert, I think I worked him the most. Like we had a lot of matches together. We had some single matches, and also a lot of tag team matches. So like we worked a lot. We work a lot together actually, and I really like the storyline, because I think it's like a true one. Like there are my trainers, and there are the older guys, and now they have a rivalry with the younger guys, the upcoming guys. So I think it's very easy to understand the storyline, and I think like the people can get behind it easily. So that's why I really like it. And of course, like to work with them is a very good place. I mean, it's a very good thing for us because we can learn a lot just about just like listening to them, like talking about the match and everything and how they work in the ring. So I'm really happy to be the part of this storyline actually.
Now you've managed to work with one of our favorites, one of the similar talent in the UK to yourself, Mr. Callum Newman on Rings of Europe.
That's right.
19 years old. What have you made of that young man?
Yeah, so I knew him by name, but I never worked him before that. So when we arrived to Austria and we met, we just instantly started talking, and then we did a match. We had fun, and I think it worked out great. So that was even better. Like when you meet a guy, uh, and everything is easy with him, and then you have a good match with him. That's the best thing. After that, we went to the same hotel. We hanged out a bit, just like talking. And the next day, we also had the match. It was a triple threat match with Guyash also, and we just had fun there, like loads of fun. So it was really great.
Now you mentioned Gul yesterday. Let's talk about some of the young talents that the UK may not know. Who should some of these UK fans, UK promoters be looking at over in HCW other than
Yes.
yourself?
So I would say Guyash for sure. And also our ladies, we have Orshi and Eva Kolaski. They are also in Wxw. And I would also say Maverick and BT. He was already in the UK before. He used the name Justin White before that, but he had to stop because of some work reasons. And now he's back, and now he's using the name BT. And he's a really, really, really amazing talent. So I would say him also.
You used to be a tag team partner with him, is that correct?
Oh
I
yeah,
saw that in
that's
a
right.
few.
Yeah, around 2018 and 19, and we started to like travel together. So let's say to Italy exactly, and we wanted to keep our tag team, but our like ideas and everything like split. But we are still friends and stuff like that. Just kind of stopped doing the tag team together. But yeah, he was my tag team partner before that.
And that was over at Rise and Sun, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. In 2019, I think. Yeah, 19. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been competing barely 5 years as a true pro, and you've already competed in 7 different countries. Which country was your best stay, I guess? Where have you enjoyed most?
Well, like I have to say Germany because kind of Germany is my second home now. But like I liked every place I wrestled actually. Also the UK because of progress. That's like a really really huge thing for me. And the promotions I worked before, like they are amazing. It doesn't matter which country it is. Also, I had a really really good time in Italy with BT because we had a little free time, so we could check out the city and everything. And also we had a seminar there with Shigehiro Irige. That was also a really, really good experience. So if I have to choose one, which is not Hungary, of course, then I would say Germany is my favorite. But I think it's because I travel there almost, I think, every month. So yeah, it's like a second home for us.
uh sorry, I've lost my place. Now you let's talk about who you think some of you if you had a choice of working a 6-month program in the UK, in the US, or in Japan, where are you going?
Oof, that's a tough one. Like, when I was 19, my big dream was to go to Japan. Now it's a bit different, I would say. but I would still choose Japan just to make that dream come true, kinda. So yeah, and that would be a really, really new experience. Like I could learn a lot of different, like a lot of different things in Japan about wrestling. So that's why I would choose Japan. But I would like to stay in Europe for sure. But if I have to choose from this, then I would say Japan.
Now, another question that we do like to ask quite regularly is the British Mount Rushmore, but of course we converted it to the European Mount Rushmore for guests like yourselves. So people who have kind of you feel have impacted European wrestling the most, either on a personal level for yourself or as a scale on Europe.
Yeah, so I have to choose Ego Blanc for sure because I'm just really happy to see him like wrestle like everywhere, and he's amazing. So, and also we are good friends, so I really have to choose him. I feel like. Also, I would say Carat Noir from the UK. He's amazing. Like his gimmick and his character is way different than from anybody else, for sure. Um, I would say my trainers, like the Arrows of Hungary, but I will choose other guys because why not? I would also say X-Men, like Axel Tischer. He helped me a lot. We had 2 matches together. I learned a lot from those matches, and he's amazing. So I have to say him, and maybe one more guy. I would say Robert Dreisker for the same reasons. He gave me a lot of ideas. He helped me a lot in wrestling, and he is really amazing in every aspect of wrestling.
Now, outside of wrestling, let's go for a bit of outside of wrestling. What do you get up to outside of the wrestling world?
Actually, it's more wrestling because I'm a full-time trainer at the Hungarian Pro Wrestling Dojo. So if I'm not traveling, probably I'm there. If I have time, I like to go to BJJ classes, and also I did powerlifting before that. But powerlifting, BJJ, and wrestling was a bit too much for my body, so I had to choose like which one is my number one goal, and of course it's wrestling. So since then I go to the BJJ classes if I have time, and if my body feels right. I still go to the gym. I really like to meet my friends, and it's really good because most of my friends are from wrestling world. So if there is a show, probably we're gonna meet and hang out together and stuff like that. Yeah, I also like to go to concerts with those guys because our taste is very similar. So we like the same music, so we can hang out a lot and do a lot of stuff together. So that's really good. But yeah, like besides wrestling, I do wrestling actually. So yeah, wrestling is my life basically.
I thought you had a bit of a BJJ background from your match in Passion Pro with Gil Blanc, where you used the triangle, and then the Ambition match that you had with Santos Pro, where you showed a lot of your groundwork. And I was like, you've probably got some BJJ background there.
That's right.
Now, as you can see behind me, we've got the Rick and Morty style Peter Tihanyi t-shirt. I noticed behind you, you've got some awesome graphics there.
Yes.
Are you an artist yourself, or?
No, actually, I'm not. I would like to be, but I'm not. But my best friend, Eric, he's I think like he's the best in t-shirt designs and everything. So it's really good because if I have an idea, he's gonna do it just like this. Sometimes I tell him like I would like a t-shirt about this and this and this. I go to sleep. When I wake up, the t-shirt is already there. I mean, the design is already there. And I'm like, all right, he's amazing. So like he did every design for me, every gear design for me also. And about the Rick and Morty one, I just really like Rick and Morty, and I made like when I decided to do design like this, it was just before 16 karat, and I felt like I think I should do it now, because even if people don't like my wrestling, maybe they're gonna like design, and that's why they're gonna buy it, you know. So I was that was the point. I thought, okay, let's make this one.
See, this is actually my wife's t-shirt, and
Oh,
both
nice.
me and my wife are actually big fans of Rick and Morty as well. So yes, when she saw the design, and she was like, "Oh, I really like that one," and then when she saw you perform, you become her favorite wrestler over the Wxw World
Thank
Tag Festival, which was absolutely insane. What was it like to be part of that one? Because it was felt slightly bigger than 16 Carat at the time.
Sorry.
What was it like being part of the World Tag Team Festival? Because that was quite a huge show.
Oh yeah, that's true. So for some reason, I felt a bit different at World Tag Team Festival than Carat. Maybe because of the traveling before that. Because just before that, I had Progress. I came home and I had to travel to Germany again. So it was more like, I kind of got used to the traveling and the wrestling part. So I was a bit more chilled at the backstage, I would say. I was still nervous and excited and stuff, but I don't know, I was in a different mindset, in a good way, of course. But I knew about the Mike Bailey match, but I was like, okay, I can't concentrate on that. I have to work my matches before that, and on Monday I can concentrate on that match. But I was very, very excited about it, because I wanted to work him for so long, and it finally happened. And I just had a really, really great time with everyone at the backstage and with the fans, and it was, I think really great 3 days. I mean, 4 with the inner circle.
Yeah, I thought the fans at that show, especially on the last day, because it wasn't as busy on the last day, because it was a Sunday bank holiday, no, Monday bank holiday.
Monday, yeah.
But the fans there really appreciated every match on that
That's
day. It was
that's
very, so it kind of lifted up the fact that there weren't as many people there, but they just stepped
yeah.
it up another level.
Actually, I didn't know that it was not as many people as before, because I couldn't feel it. Because, as you mentioned, they were really, really into it, and they gave us a lot of chants and everything. So I didn't know that it was less people than the days before.
Yeah, well, because I was part of the crowd, but as I say, literally every match they were giving really good applause, and that opening match, it was CDK and
Yes.
the Pretty Bastards.
Yes.
I've never seen time limit draw get a standing ovation, but they truly deserved it on that match.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, where can the people out there get your amazing Rick and Morty style t-shirt, Bart Simpson
Yeah.
style t-shirt as well? Where can they get your merch?
Well, they can get it at shows, I would say. But if someone texts me on Instagram or Twitter, I can also send them by mail.
Now, let's talk about the future. What are some of the promotions that you would love to work in the next couple of years?
Well, I would say almost every promotion I can work. Like in the UK, I would really like to work for Revolution Pro, and also I would like to work more for Progress. But yeah, I just like to travel and to get as many opportunities as I can get. So I would like to go to Spain. Also, I would like to work for APC again in the near future. Yeah, and like every country which is possible. Yeah, because every country, I mean, every promotion has something new to it. I can learn new things. So yeah, I would like to go everywhere.
Awesome. Now, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to talk about today?
Um,
What you got
actually,
coming up?
I think we talked about a lot of things. So I think that's it. Yeah.
What's your next match with Hungarian Championship Wrestling? When's
The
they've
next
just announced
one,
a new show, haven't they?
yeah, the next one in Hungary is gonna be November 26th. That's our biggest show, the Bloody November. That's kind of like the WrestleMania for HCW. But my next match overall is gonna be what day is it? It's Wednesday, so it's gonna be on Saturday for Wxw. On Sunday it's GWF, and on Monday it's RPW in Romania, and Fandango is gonna be there. So I'm really looking forward to that. And after that, I have 1 weekend off, which I'm kind of happy about it because I can chill a bit, even though I go to the trainings and run the trainings and stuff like that. But I don't have to travel. But yeah, the next Hungarian match is in November.
Excellent. And as you say, you're going to be in WXW this weekend. I'm sure you're going to have a great
Yes.
match. Do you know who you're facing this weekend?
Yes. So I'm gonna team up with Orshi against Icarus and Robert.
That's going to be an interesting matchup.
That's gonna be interesting for sure.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Peter. As I say, my wife is a big fan. I am a big fan. You're one of the brightest young talents in Europe right now. I think there should be a big future for you in the ahead, and UK promotions book him because I'd like to see him in the UK more often. So with that said, I'm just going to leave it as we always leave it. Don't feed the trolls.